Carl and Brendan here from Games, Brains and a Head-Banging Life, gbhbl.com for short, and it's end of year list time. And as we like to do, we have our top albums, we have our top EPs, we have our top live performances, but we also like to do our top tracks, top individual tracks. That's 10 tracks from 10 bands, could be all from the same band, for goodness sake, if it's that good of an album, that we think are worth shouting about. And they may not feature necessarily on EPs or albums that are in our other list. They may not. In most cases, they normally do, but it might be the odd one, a single or whatever that was released that you're just like, this shit needs to be talked about. So we're going to talk about 10 of them, 10 each. It's 10 from Brendan, 10 from me, and you'll get a little snippet of music from it, which just means it'll be copyright claimed into oblivion. But oh well, what are you going to fucking do? As long as it stays up, it's no big deal, and that's never been taken down to date. So 10 each. Do you want to get us started then with one of yours?
Yeah, sure. So my 10th track on my list is a song called Black Science, which is by a
Ooh.
band Voltumnus, which came from their an EP that they released much earlier this year. A really, really strong EP called For Death is Fate. Italian black and death metal. This song has been the longest, like, lasting one from the EP. It's a great EP, but it's a song that, like, I go back to over and over and over again. Got a lot of cool stuff about them, and like, they use kind of historical, um yeah, I mean history, and I don't know, they call it anthropological reinterpretation of ancient wars, which is a very, very nice way of
Fucking
saying it.
weird.
But to be fair, I couldn't think of the words there to use, so I'll just go with that. That'll do. Anthropological reinterpretation of ancient wars. But that is like a common sort of thing, this idea of doing this kind of like ancient mythological historical sort of thing, but not necessarily in black and death metal. So they have a lot of cool things going for them, and a lot of it comes up in this song. Two vocalists, both harsh though, just at different tones. So you get that kind of like dual vocals all the way through, but one's like a little bit up here and one's a little bit further down. Little bits of melody that kind of bring in some of that ancient sounding sounds along the way as well. So yeah, Black Science by Paul Thomas, banging
Don't
track.
know it. I think we talked about we did some of this band earlier on in the year, reaction to this different song. No?
Nah, 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 nah. It's another band that'll be in my list in a minute, actually, and the same song, I
Mm,
think.
mm. Okie dokie. Well, we certainly haven't talked about at any point covered El Muno and their song The Waking Sun, which is the title track from their latest album, The Waking Sun. Experimental as fuck, weird as hell. You will hear everything from gothic horror to post-hardcore heaviness to melody to just an immense amount of different things all combining into anthemic music, psych infused atmosphere here and there, sinister styles all across this album. And one track I think that embodies the ability to be extremely weird, extremely heavy, extremely intense is their title track, which is erratic as fuck, but with some emphatic noise heaviness. It is so fucking weird, so chaotic, and so intense, but it has groove as well. You can move to this. It has that anthemic quality. It's what makes this band so special. And I think that title track is a great showcase of it. It's why it's my number 10.
And my number nine, something surprising is about to happen because I didn't see this coming, but it has actually made it into my top 10, and that is Return to the Sea by Grimgots. So
Oh,
after
wow. Check that out,
after
eh?
the many, many years of me not being 100% sure, liking a couple of tracks, not liking a couple of tracks, and going back and forward, um, this song from their new album, The Time of the Wolf Rider, which is a good album. I do like the album, but this song has stuck with me. I really, really like this song. I've listened to it a lot. I listen to it regularly. I get very, very into it when I listen to it. I like to sing along to it. It's catchy as hell. It's got some cool music. It's got some good ideas in it. So for the first time, not only have I become a fan of Grimgots in some ways, it's actually made it onto one of my lists.
Big up. That's amazing. Yeah, great album as well. And a great Gringotts album. It's great to see them develop. What an incredible journey you've been on. Okay, if you had said to me at any stage leading up to this album's release that there would ever be a chance that a song from this band could exist in any top list of mine, I'd have laughed. As much as I enjoy the band, as much as I like what they do, the idea that they would make music strong enough to appear in a list like this would be laughable. But here we are. It's raised by owls, and it is none of this will matter in the end. And this is chosen purely because of how shocked I was that this exists in this album. Now, that album's filled with great songs, but of course it all comes from a comedic tint and stuff like that. You know, there are serious lyrics, read a little bit more into certain things that you kind of get where they're coming from and stuff like that. But it's all kind of leans towards the extreme sort of side of death metal with sort of like sometimes hardcore sort of shoes on, bit of black metal here and there and all that. And then you hit this last song on the album, and it's atmospheric, it's melodic, it's different, while also being raised by owls. Yet the overall theme of the song, which is basically it don't matter because none of this is gonna matter. You're all fucking dead anyway. So why are you taking this shit so serious? All of that, like that resonates a lot with me, particularly when people get so het up and stressed out and upset over like things that don't matter, like the fact that Raised by Owls are popular, things like that just work. But it was the fact that this song was just so moody, like it's so filled with like deeper, darker vibes than what you expect from this band. It really took me by surprise. It's also very catchy. Like I find myself listening to this track more than any other on the album, even though it's sort of like not the happiest song to fucking listen to. It just, and to me, it showcased like, oh right, like this is them sort of pointing at the people. Like, oh yeah, we can actually be, we are actually a good band. Like, do you know what I mean? I know the joke is they're not right, but that is just a joke. We all know that they're joking, we're joking. They're a good fucking band, and songs like this prove it. So yeah, like I love that it's good enough to be in my top 10 songs of the year.
Yeah, it's great, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's a great album. All right, my number eight then. So this is the song is called Signals. It's by a band called Helivon, from an album called Espectres, which came out in around September, I think. They are genre-wise categorized as atmospheric doom, and they are a miserable bunch, I think generally. But it isn't doom as in like the sort of down-tuned, everything's low and distorted and everything like that. You know, it's got a it's actually really really crisp, the album. You know, it's very very classy sounding. Like, you know, that makes sense. I think if you listen to it, you kind of do. You're like, oh, okay, this is very professional. This is maybe a bit more of the more traditional doom, I guess, in that side. But they also have like some nice combinations with keys and stuff like that going on. And Signals is to me played like the first 10 seconds of Signals, and if and you everyone will just go like, this is amazing. You know, and then it kind of carries on from there as well. But it's like, you know, one of those things that starts off at the beginning as a little intro, which is a bit of guitars with a bit of keys combining together, and you're just like, oh shit, this is fire, this is banging, I love this. So yeah, Signals by Helivon.
Oh, there we go. All right, what have I got next? Another band we've discussed. We did a reaction to one of the songs, but not this particular one. It is the atmospheric post-rockers Million Moons, who released their new album this year. I May Be Sometime, which was inspired. The entire album is a story, inspired a concept album around the Antarctic explorer Captain Lawrence Oates, and of course, his self sacrifice. We all know the story. It's all told throughout this instrumental post-release. I've chosen the song Aurora, which is actually the last song on the album. And I've chosen this because I think I could have chosen any song from this album, but I chose this because I think it's the best example of where Million Moons showcase the comfort that comes from this post-rock sound, the specificness. Now, there's stuff that's got urgency, there's stuff that's got danger, there's stuff that's worrisome, there's stuff tinged with emotion, but there's only one track on it, to me, that captures the peacefulness of the environment. The sadness that comes with it, and the idea of sitting on a rock and just being at completely at peace with yourself and the entire world, frozen landscape, the colors are in the sky, it's beautiful. It's emotional, and yeah, it's sad and still tinged with sacrifice and all of that. But as to me, it encapsulates that beauty that exists in all of that. I wanted to put a Million Moons track in this because I've appreciated what they've done this year. This just felt right. It felt like the one to me that captured it wonderfully. You know? Yeah. So Aurora. Sorry, I said Aurora by Million Moons.
Cool. Seventh place then. Probably
Ooh.
another surprise for me actually, because we covered much earlier in the year. I think actually in January we did a track by track for an album by a band that you had only recently released their album, but you really wanted to do it, and it didn't go down well with me because it was too technical. And this is the band Exocrine
Oh, yeah,
with
yeah,
the
yeah, yeah,
album
yeah.
Legend. Now, because of doing track by tracks, that means that whether or not I would have naturally gravitated to the towards this or not, I have no choice but to listen to it. And when we did the track by track, overall, I wasn't a massive fan of the album because there are some parts of this album that are very progressive, very in your face, very technical, very quirky at times for me. My little simple, I like rhythm mind. But there were a couple of songs in it that I absolutely adored, and that love of those songs has followed all the way through the year. They are regular plays for me, and the one in particular that stands out is The Altar of War, which is a song that I absolutely adore. I think it is a masterpiece of music. It's got everything that I love about it. It is technical and progressive at times, but it isn't the most that they kind of go. It is reserved to a degree, with very, very clever working of melodies, different beats, little change ups, everything like that. For me, just a phenomenal track and one I've listened to. I would say, I mean, it's in my playlist. It's one of the, you build these playlists up over the course of a year, but as you get through the year, there can become songs that you start skipping, start skipping. I will
Yeah, because
never skip
yeah.
this song ever in my life. I don't think it's amazing.
How weird is that? Because yeah, we've really got to go back to the early point of this year for Exocrine and Legend. I mean, the album was
Yeah.
released in January as well, so like, yeah, and it's weird because it is going to feature in other lists of mine as well. Like, so it is still an album that has a lot of impact. Okay, dropping a surprise EP earlier this year, Celestial Sanctuary. They dropped Visions of Stagnant Blood out of the blue. Didn't really announce it. Here we are. Here's three new tracks, and each track is intense, of course, brutally heavy. But fuck me, it is all about the second track in this EP, the middle one. Puddles of You reflect the filth within. Holy shit! I think this is like my favorite song of theirs, and they've done some great shit. It is the riffs are insane. The percussion, that opening, like, oh, I love it. The vocal is fucking vomit inducing. It is brutally heavy chaos with so much energetic groove and anthemicness that a band of this ilk should not be allowed to have. I fucking love it. Every time I just want, it's like I want to just feel a bit, oh, stupid, that's the wrong word, but I just want that nasty bit of noise. This is the track I go to, man, every single time, and it never fails to put a smile on my face. Yeah, so let's do a Sanctuary.
Okay, so number 6 for me, I'm gonna probably butcher the name of the song. I think it is Sir Willow or Sir Below, but it's by Brothers of Metal. It's from their album Fimbulvinter. Um, this album's reasonably recent, like as in it came out 1st of November, so it's not a whole heap of time ago. So it is fresh in my mind. I love the album. I think it is a power metal masterpiece, like as in it just delivers everything you expect from that genre, but just upped a little bit. And I'm currently in a cycle of my favorite song changing every couple of weeks. So this has just come at the right time where this happens to be the one. And if it had been 2 weeks ago, it would have been a different one. And 2 weeks before that, it was a different one again. So I can't even promise that this is going to be my favorite track on the album in 2 weeks' time. But right now, it's the song Willow. Um, Look, it is power metal. It's catchy, it's grand, it's
Yeah.
storytelling, it's melodic at times, it's upbeat and tempo high, and lead guitars again. But the thing that I love about this song at the moment more than anything else, and Brothers Metal do this across the album, is I was trying to explain this to somebody at work the other day, and it's the lead vocalist, like the lilt, like the sort of way that she delivers these lines, which is not like standard, as in like the pacing of a single sentence can be like first 3 words really, really fast, then drop down and go up and down. And it's almost like it's like watching a guitar note but being done with the vocals. And it's just this song just has passages in it in the verses that I just think are fucking genius. And I listen to the way it's delivered in terms of vocals, and I'm like, oh my God, that's so clever. But like I said, like it's a strong album, man, and I'm not going to pretend that like my song. I would say this is my fourth change on the album so far, and there are a couple of more songs that I you get that feeling where you're like, oh, in a couple of weeks' time, I'm probably going to be playing that next one like repeatedly. But for now, 6th place, Sir Willow, Brothers of Metal.
You're in control, just like the race of justice. She will illuminate the darkest cell. In restraint, lead the way. Resisting the dark, there will be no death today. Rising up into the sky.
There it is. Yes. Okay. Yeah, I tried with mine for the most part. Mine are drawn from the fact that these are ones that have stuck. I've been out long enough that they've stuck. There's nothing too fresh in it. And certainly, although there are stuff that's been released in the last couple of months, e.g. this album, which is Seethan Akira's Cancel Estate, and the specific track Ixnay. Now, you'll be a bit more familiar with this because we did a reaction for this a few weeks ago. That big kind of club-like banger with that infectious fucking chorus. Listen, folks, I don't know what it is about this. Right, I already love Seethan Akira, a great positive band who do great music and a lot of fun, but don't always love everything they do. This track in particular, Cancel State's a great album overall, but this track in particular, it just hits. I don't know what it is, like, it's just brilliantly energy, poppy as fuck with all these great metal and rocky bits that just work for me. Some incredible drumming, some really cleverly used effects to give it a different vibe. Just a great anthem that just every time I hear, I just want to sing along. I can't wait to see this live. Already one of my most anticipated bands to see live next year. At the moment, they're guaranteed based off Mangata, so that's great. But I'm hoping I'm going to get to see them in London at some point. It's because I want to see this particular. I'm basically going to do that thing I said in the other video. I'm going to start before they come out. I'm going to turn to my wife and go, I'll be happy if they play Ixnay. That way I know they're going to open with it. So yeah, can't wait. Ixnay, Seethan Akira, it's on my list.
Loving like you will be the death of me. We both know that you are bad for me. Even though I seek is not what I need. We both know that you are bad for me. Be the thing I see when I
have to start renting Carl out for people who want their band to play their favorite song first.
If it works, this will be so funny.
Okay, so I mean, I do have songs that are released more newly to me. I don't know if I take a slightly different tack with this, but I don't think I put them in here because I'm obsessed with them at the moment. I think they go in there because I know already that I'm gonna love these songs for a long time. So, but this song next at fifth place, while the album itself that it comes from is very, very new, this was the first single from it. It's been out a period longer than that, and it's a conversation with God by the band Earthbound from their album Kronos. Now, the album is phenomenal, right? I really, really like the album a lot. It's like an evolved Earthbound. It's bigger, better, just a bit more of everything, really. But I am still, and always will be, a bit of a boring old Melodeath fan at heart. Um,
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, there are a lot of songs in this album that I'm loving a lot right now, and it may well be that as months go by, some of them songs become firm favorites. But it hasn't been out long enough for me at the point of recording that anything has surpassed A Conversation with God for me yet. It's
Yeah.
probably one of the more straightforward tracks on the album. It's less challenging, while still of high quality. Um, I guess it's probably the closest to a straight up kind of Melodeath banger, on the album, which is always going to work well for me. I remember seeing the guys from Earthbound at Imperial at Age Fest, and even then saying to them, like, Conversation with God, like that song's fucking amazing. And they were saying like, oh, I didn't get the reaction actually as like other
You
singles
know,
from the
yeah.
album did, which surprised me because for me it's like this is the pinnacle, man. But then I'm a simple kind of Melodeath fan at heart, and always will be. But yeah, I love this track. I think it's phenomenal. It's just got a great flow to it. It's heavy, but it's catchy. It just delivers that Melodeath kind of goodness. Exactly that nice balance of this is a melodic death metal track. There you go.
Strong track on a very strong album. Okay, so what might follow, barring one or two, but one in particular, is probably going to be pretty much par for the course. But I'm about what I think might shock you, because even now I'm like, oh God, I'm about to talk about this. King
Oh no.
810. King
Oh fuck.
810, 810 released one of my favorite songs of the year. This, I know, it still staggers me, but every time I hear it, I'm like, that's fucking good. This was such a shock to me. This was a single slam track. I was like, well, you know what? I don't listen to King 810 enough. I just don't because no, behave, nonsense. No. Got no interest in that shit. And what I have heard, the rap kind of stuff, never appealed. This one got my attention by being described as, oh, actually, it's not really a song. What it is an episodic film series, which actually comes with a soundtrack. And it's the films that are important, and then you got the soundtrack that plays over it. And each one is almost like a theatre show. And this particular track called Glow, oh, it's about two young lovers in like the rural Rust Belt of USA, kind of, being split apart and how like the world and how poor it is and how that affects them. And this song is like nothing I've ever heard this band do before. Not only is it highly melodic, but fuck me, is it grand. It's grand. It feels like a theatre show. It's silly in places. It's got this epic melody, this wonderful brilliance that vibrates and it continues to glow. I get the story they're telling. It fascinated me enough so that I ended up seeking out all the other Under the Black Rainbow stuff, which is what this stuff's titled, and found other fascinating stuff. I didn't know this band had this in them, and I will admit I judged them and misjudged them. To see them perform and do stuff like this has really taken me by surprise. It hasn't changed my opinion on a lot of the other stuff because I then thought, go give some of the other stuff a shot. No, I'm good, mate. No worries. I'll stick to this really inventive, creative stuff that you're doing elsewhere that I found to be fascinating. But I keep coming back to Glow, and every time it just starts off in that first chorus hits, and if you know it, the melody, din, 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 like I'm just like, wow. I urge you all, like it's a couple of minutes long. Just listen to it. You may not love it because it is weird. It's fucking weird as well. but you will not hear King 810 perhaps in the same way that you thought. It shocked me. And it is my number 5 favorite track of the year.
Sell your kids, sell the souls. They're buying those before they grow old. And I know what they say. It's better to burn out than fade away. We're lost souls. We're not gold. Never light, never shine, never show. No, we were never stars. We don't glow. Easy to hide inside a world where you don't glow.
Yeah, I mean, it surprises me too, to be honest with you, because I've also prejudged them, but I haven't given it a chance, so I will. But yeah, there you go. It's surprising. Didn't know they had that in them. Right, number 4 then for me. I think this is the one that you might have been referring to earlier on. So this is the song "Light in the Darkness" by Brrraaains,
There it is.
another V band. So this comes from the album The Dark Horizon, which came out in around April 11th. This is probably less of a surprise that they are a melodic death metal band. This is their second album. They're old school melodic death metal in, a little bit more early in flames, early at the gates, that sort of style. So, so it's on the heavier edge of it, but not fully and not all the way. And this is like one of the songs near the end of the album. It's actually, I think this is the last song on the album, which, when a band, like, they've kind of hit you with like, yeah, shit, this is good, this is heavy and all that sort of stuff. But you kind of feel like maybe they just want to show you that there's a little bit of something else like within them as well. So we're going to do that on the closing track, just to throw them off a little bit and show them that maybe in future albums there might be surprises coming, that sort of thing. So you kind of gone like 10-12 tracks deep into this like pretty fast, pretty aggressive melodeath stuff, with like catchy choruses through guitar melody mostly, while the singer just kind of barks aggressively at you. And then all of a sudden in this, it suddenly chills out for a minute, and there's a female vocalist in an almost folk kind of style, and then he's backing that like with his aggressive stuff before it goes back into it, and it's just like, where the fuck did that come from? But then at the same time, as in like, not as in, oh my god, that surprised me so much I dislike that, as in like, wow, okay, fucking awesome. Because if this is what you can do without that, then great, but you're not going to like last 20 albums or 10 albums or 4 albums probably just doing 12. We do nothing but old school melodic death metal. So just kind of dropping in those here's a little gem for you. What do you think of that sort of thing? And I was like, yeah, I fucking love it. So I think it's a strong album. I had about 5 or 6 tracks from it that are in my playlist that I play all the time. But this is, out of them, I think this is the most accomplished song. And then becomes one of my 4th favorite.
Yeah. It was a great song. I've listened to this album actually based off that as well, and I know it certainly will feature elsewhere. Okay, cool. Number 4 then for me, rock music, and pretty straight up rock. It's rock music for Wales. Scarlet Rebels released their new album this year, Where the Colours Meet, and it has a lot of bangers on it, a lot of catchy bangers, a lot of rock anthems, things that are very familiar, things that feel great. But there was one track in particular that took me not by surprise, because I knew this band had this in them, but man, oh man, as far as like a track that kind of sit down and you put a wistful smile in your face, not a happy song, not a sad song. Well, it is a sad song, but more just like to make you, because it's about really reflecting on things. It's called It Was Beautiful. And it's really pretty, beautifully melodic, well-sung track. It's simply about like, looking back and seeing the moments that were fantastic and beautiful and memories and all this sort of thing. And like, I do urge people as well, if you listen to the track, watch the video. I think the video is an incredible touch, a wonderful touch. Like as well, that adds so much more to it. But the vibrancy in this is what really matters. It's so sweet and so like sad as well, but it's sung so impressively with this brilliant guitar rhythm and brilliant melody that really hits in this great chorus. I just found this really addictive to listen to, even though, like I said, it's on the sadder side of things. I do find myself listening to it regularly, just really liking it. So yeah, Scarlet Rebels, It Was Beautiful.
How come we never know? Times
a sad song every now and then.
Yeah, it's that, isn't it?
You need it. Can't all
Yeah.
just be aggressive or positive or noise. Uh, Speaking of sad, but sad for a different reason, my third favorite track of this year comes from the band Trendkill, and this is the song "Step Inside," which is coming from their EP Blood for the Crown," not from the
Yep.
crown, for the crown. Sad for the reason that this is their last release for a period of time, hopefully, as they go on a currently indefinite hiatus to re-find that kind of spark and drive that, sometimes bands need to take a moment to go off and find. So I was sad because I really like this band a lot. Musically, they are so much of what I enjoy and grew up enjoying as well, with their kind of moments that, can sometimes I feel like I'm listening to a kind of underground version of Pantera or a early days Trivium or a bit of Machine Head, and kind of just encapsulating that kind of good
Yeah.
heavy metal sound. Loads of groove, loads of rhythm. It's got great vocals, great guitars. Everything about it is just like right up my street. And I love it. I love pretty much everything they've delivered. And the EP's great. And Step Inside, the sort of lead single for it, first track on it, is just phenomenal. And I haven't really stopped playing it since. But like I said, it's also kind of equally sad. And it's that, falling in love with songs from a band where you're not going to hear something for a while. And I think I said when, kind of wrote a review for the EP and whatnot, it's the sort of thing you just hope people listen to it, hear it, shout about it, share it with their friends, and that sort of stuff becomes the motivation and encouragement for Trendkill to go, right, okay, that's what we needed. We feel recharged. Let's come back. Now I know they've only just gone on hiatus, so I'm probably wishful thinking a little bit
Yeah.
just yet. Maybe I need to give them a bit of time, but yeah, Step Inside, I think it's an amazing track.
Whatever happens in the future, at least they signed off in fashion as of right now, so the hell, yeah. They're a band who rarely have put a foot wrong. I think the EP is fantastic too. Number 3. Well, they always have to feature in every fucking list I do when they do something, don't they? It's Sugar Horse. And the number 3, it's the song Corpsing, of course, coming from the grand scheme of things, their latest album. Okay, folks, hear me out. This is the most anthemic song this band's ever done. And I know you might, well, that's just you being silly because they're just weird and they do noise and this is crazy and they've got harmony and all that. But let's be honest, anthemic is a word that does not exist with Sugar Horse. Well, go listen to Corpsing. You're fucking wrong. It is as strange as always. It's got a discombobulating edge, an unusual drum beat, pop style vocals, and this intense flare up of guitar near the end. However, all of this comes together in this glorious, harmonious way that I was shocked. And this madness comes after like another brilliant song. So it should almost pale in comparison, but like it's debatable whether this is the best song on the album or in line with another one anyway. But my God, this to me is like, it's so boundary pushing, not just for music, but for this band as well, because it's like they simplify things in this album for the most part. And this is a good example of that. Yeah, it's still fucking crazy and still intense and still strange and just super, super wonderful. This is the kind of track I would play people if I wanted them to hear a second Sugar Horse song. Not the first, because I'd choose a couple of different ones, but a second, all right, here's a different side to this band. I'd play them one of the more progressive, big songs, and then I play them this sort of simpler, anthemic, catchy almost tune. So yeah, Corpsing, my third favorite of the year.
Cool. Okay, number 2 then. Second place. So band that really have been my band of the year, I guess, all the way through the year until near the end of the year. But so the coming in at number two, this song is "Time to Rise" by the band Lutharo,
Oh yeah.
which came from the album Chasing Euphoria that came back out in March. Um, we've done a reaction to it as well. I spoke a bit about it at the time. I think it's a great album. Really, really enjoyed it. It's the first time I'd heard the band, even though it's the second album, so it was nice to be able to have like a look back album as well and enjoy a lot of the stuff there as well. But this was the first song from that really kind of captured me at a point in time, and like I loved the vocals, I loved the guitars of it. I also really enjoyed the positive kind of message, the kind of corny, I guess, at sometimes, but not delivered in a corny kind of way, but that whole sort of stand up, you're okay sort
Yeah.
of side of things, which is also nice. Um, for me, it captures, it ticks a lot of boxes for me anyway. I mean, they're a melodic metal band, but plenty in the way of harsh vocals as well. So, it's that nice combination with the female vocalist who can do pretty powerful harsh vocals, mix them in with the cleans, musically quite high tempo, but with intelligent lyrics that, tell a bit of a story and you can kind of like imagine yourself in these scenarios and everything like that. So I really appreciated that about it as well. So yeah, Time to Rise by Lotharo.
I promise this process, it takes time. I'll be your guide. I know you are not used to trusting in this blunt of time.
It's really interesting as I'm not quite connected with this band. I know we did reaction to it and I thought it was solid enough, but I wasn't too excited about it as well. And I've given it a chance a few times, but each time I kind of just come away going, yeah, that's fine. It's interesting that something just works that way.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, this is might be a first. I'm pretty sure it is. And almost again, it's weird. It feels wrong to have a band have two songs in the top 10, but I have a band that has the second song. In fact, they're right next to each other. Yes, it is Sugar Horse again. Sugar Horse with the shape of ASMR to come. Look, it is up there as one of my favorite Sugar Horse songs of all. Like very close to Full Spectre and Hell, if not nearly on the same level. It is a phenomenal example of this band leaning into their shoegaze style, but also adding so much emotion to the thing and delivering something that I think is exceptionally beautiful. Um, the way this song flows, the intense and weighty segment that kind of follows that quiet vocal line and soft melody section, it's one of my favorite moments of alt music this year. And then you end as well because you've got this sort of light, dreamy like thing, and then at the end you just get this dum dum like really heavy, slow, doomy fucking sound. I adore this song. I can listen. I probably listen. This is probably a song I've listened to the most this year, which is saying a lot. But it is only my number two. There is a number one to come. It's number two, but it's Sugar Horse. I promise number one is not a Sugar Horse song. I promise.
That's what I was about to ask you. Like, is there a third?
No, that's it.
Okay, so my number one then. Right, phenomenal song from a phenomenal album by a phenomenal band. I've chosen Wilted Flower from the album Coma by Garia. Phenomenal, like just a superb album. A band that, I'm quite happy to say that I think I'm a little bit obsessed with, to be honest. Just I find everything about them to be mesmerizing, musically, visually, everything about them. Absolutely adore it, and I think Wilted Flower for me it's the perfect balance on this album between everything they do and things that like them progressing a little bit further, like just taking a few different more ideas, a little bit of the clean vocals, even all the sort of spoken whispery side of things while delivering like this post black metal sound that is really, 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 really heavy at times, but also emotional, with loads of melody, and it makes you feel. And it's not just, oh, this is black metal, but it is still black metal. That's the thing. It's like, and anyone who
Yeah.
says it isn't, it's just fucking insane. It is still black metal, but it's like black metal leveled up. But that's got to piss a few people off in it. But I just it's not just about the band or the album. Like this song has stuck like with me. There's a lot of songs in this album that have stuck with me. I mean, I spent most of the year obsessed with World Ablaze because that was the first single that came out.
Yeah.
But when the album came out and I listened to it and I've listened to it a lot, like this is the one that to me, if somebody said to me like play me something that like show me Gary, I think like this is probably the song I would play. So yeah, Walk with Flower, my favorite song of the year.
Incredible song, incredible album. Okay, and my last one, number one, is Days from Callous, from the EP Days. This is a brand new band for me this year, post-rock metal and experimental band from Ireland, Cork specifically in Ireland, released this EP around about July time. And everything about the description sort of spoke to me. I love post-rock, I love post-metal, I love experimentation. And then I heard the title track, which is the title track of this EP, and it is a staggering piece of music that oozes glorious gloominess. There's a rougher and rawer instrumental side to this band that I think is fucking fabulous, but it contrasts so impressively with the vocals, which are clean and melodic and dreamy. And like the way those two cross over, it shouldn't work. They should almost be pushing against each other, but they meld together in spectacular style, resulting in a track that is downright beautiful. It is emotionally wrought. I find this really, really difficult to listen to, but also an absolute joy. And I just find it fascinating in particular that normally I get that feeling from tracks that are more expansive than this. This is a 4-ish minute track, and it is packed to the gills with gorgeous melodies, great rock heaviness, and so much emotion that it affects me, genuinely does. There aren't many tracks, many bands that can release something that I think is better than a Sugar Horse track in a year when Sugar Horse released something so special. But Callous did it with the song Days. In fact, I'd argue, although it's not, it's technically not added, I would argue there's a second song on the EP that could also be in this list. But I chose just to go with one. So yeah, Days is my number one by Callous.
Wide range.
There it is. Yeah, wide range. That's 20 freaking tracks, people, that you can check out from us in this video. We'll have heard little snippets here and there as well. You know what to do, though. You got any thoughts on what we've said here and what you might have in yours? Let us know in the comments. Thank you very much for watching. If you'd like to see more content like this, please consider hitting the subscribe button. It is gratefully appreciated. You can find us over at gbhbl.com, our full website where reviews, news and so much more goes up daily. We're also on all social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Threads, at GBHBL. Just search for GBHBL and you will find us out there. We also have merchandise on sale. You can access the shop via the website.